Charles Dickens's Great Expectations. It begins on a cold, grey evening in the lonely marshes of Kent. The wind howls through the reeds, and a thin boy with trembling hands stands before the gravestones of his dead parents. His name is Pip, short for Philip Pirrip, and though he is small and poor, his heart is alive with imagination. Out of the fog rises a shadow, ragged, chained, desperate, a convict escaped from a prison ship moored in the river. He seizes Pip by the shoulders, demanding food and a file to cut his irons. The boy, terrified, but moved by pity, brings the man bread, brandy, and a file stolen from the forge where his brother-in-law Joe works. It is an act of mercy that will haunt and bless him for the rest of his life. Soon after, soldiers capture the convict, Magwitch, and he's dragged back into custody. Pip believes he'll never see him again. But fate has its own strange way of circling back. Pip lives with his hot-tempered sister and her gentle husband, Joe Gargery, the village blacksmith. Joe is rough in his speech, but tender in heart, and he loves Pip like a son. Yet Pip dreams of something more than soot and hammers. He longs to rise above the forge, to be worthy of finer things. Then one day, opportunity arrives in the form of Miss Havisham, a wealthy recluse who lives in a mansion called Satis House, though there is little satisfaction inside it. Long ago, she was left at the altar, and time froze at the moment of her heartbreak. She still wears her yellowed wedding gown, and the decaying feast from that day still sits on her dining table, covered in dust and cobwebs. Pip is brought there to play, though play is not quite the word. He meets Estella, Miss Havisham's ward, beautiful, proud, and cruelly trained to break men's hearts. "You may kiss my hand if you like," she says coldly, and Pip does, falling helplessly in love. From that moment on, the forge feels smaller, Joe's kindness feels clumsy, and Pip's own life seems unbearably familiar. He begins to measure himself against Estella's scorn and dreams of becoming a gentleman, of being somebody. Years pass, and the dream appears to come true. A London lawyer named Jaggers arrives with astonishing news. Pip has come into a fortune from a secret benefactor who wishes to remain unnamed. Pip assumes it must be Miss Havisham. Surely she's preparing him to marry Estella. And so, he leaves Joe, the forge, and his old life behind. In London, he learns to wear fine clothes, to spend carelessly, to speak with pride, and to forget the humble boy who once trembled in the marshes. But behind the glitter of society, Pip's heart grows restless. Estella, still as radiant and unreachable as ever, toys with his affection, but offers no love in return. Then one stormy night, the truth comes crashing through his door. A stranger appears, soaked, rough, trembling, and Pip's heart nearly stops. It's Magwitch, the convict he helped long ago. He is Pip's true benefactor. Not Miss Havisham, not any lady of wealth, but a hunted man who made his fortune in the rough colonies and sent it all back to make a gentleman of the boy who once showed him kindness. Pip is shattered. His grand dream was built on a lie. His gentility was founded on crime. Yet as he comes to know Magwitch, he sees not a monster, but a man, fierce, loyal, and full of a father's love. Pip risks everything to protect him from the law that seeks to drag him back to prison or worse. But fate is cruel once again. Magwitch is captured after a desperate flight down the Thames and dies in Pip's arms, comforted by one truth, that his daughter lives. That daughter is Estella. Meanwhile, Miss Havisham is consumed by regret. Too late, she realises how she used Pip and Estella as tools of her vengeance. In a tragic accident, her wedding gown catches fire, and she perishes amid the ashes of her sorrow. Her last words a plea for Pip's forgiveness. Pip's fortune vanishes. His illusions crumble. He falls into debt, sickness, and despair. And who should come to his bedside but Joe, the same gentle soul he once turned away. Joe nurses him, pays his debts, and leaves quietly, never mentioning the pain Pip caused in that simple, humble love. Pip finds redemption, Years pass. Pip returns to the ruins of Sati's house, where he finds Estella once more. Widowed now, and softened by suffering, the proud beauty is gone. In her place stands a woman who has learned the language of loss. The two walk together through the garden where they once played as children. The old bitterness washed away. As the mist rises over the fields, Pip takes her hand. "I saw no shadow of another parting from her," he says. And in that moment, Dickens leaves us with hope. Not the blinding youthful kind, but the quiet, enduring hope that grows out of forgiveness and love.